All right, guys, so I'm making up some fluid beds tonight, and I thought we'd just kind of take a look at the cheapest possible setup to make a fluid bed for dipping jigs. And this is what I've come up with. You'll see a lot of other guys online that are making them out of unions, screw together union. You know, it's like a 3-part PVC, 2 parts come together, and then a third is like a big threaded nut. Those things are almost $13 a piece just for that fitting. Now, I can make one of these whole setups just like you see it here. I figured it out. It's $3.27 per unit. So it's going to be tough to beat that. If anybody can beat that, let me know in the comments down below, or I'd love to see the video of how you did it. So anyhow, how I'm making these, I'm using 2-inch Schedule 40 PVC that I picked up at Lowe's. I'm using these valves that I picked up on Amazon. And I'm going to use an aquarium pump also that I picked up on Amazon. They had it for just about the same price that Walmart did. This is the Whisper 60 pump. But anyhow, let me show you how I'm putting together these fluid beds themselves. So I'll tell you all the dimensions and stuff too. So try to break this down to make it as easy to understand as possible. So the first thing you need, or the list of parts that you're going to need one 2-inch PVC coupler. This is called a coupler. Where are you at? There you are. It's got a little ridge down in the middle of it. For you guys that are not real familiar with these. So you're going to need one of these. You're going to need one piece of PVC pipe that you cut down to 1.5 inches. You're going to need another piece of PVC pipe that you cut down to 2 1/4 inches. And then you're going to need 2 of these test plugs. On the end of the thing, it calls it a Charlotte name brand 2-inch knockout plug. And they're kind of hard to find on the Lowe's website. If you see them in the store, or they're easier to find in the store, but on the website they call them a spigot test fitting. So you need 2 of these. And again, you need one of these little valves to regulate. And how I put these together, well, you're also going to need, I'm using paper. Now, I tried different media. I tried newsprint. I tried paper bag, and this is regular copy or printer paper. I snagged this off the printer. I did not figure this into the cost of the thing, and I didn't figure the glue into the cost of the thing just because I've got those on hand, and most guys do. So the cost added would be minuscule for those items. So anyhow, let's see. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get one of these test caps and my 1.5 inch long piece of PVC, and I'm going to prime them. And what this stuff does, this cleans the PVC. It kind of etches it. It almost like melts it. Now, I'm not going to go into the detail too much on that because I don't know exactly what's going on here. But so you want to clean that. You want to clean the edge that this is gonna mate on the edge of the pipe. Where you at? It's gonna mate on the edge and the inside. And I'm using this stuff very sparingly. I don't want to slop that around and make a big mess there. So we're gonna wait just a second for that to dry. I didn't mention, I cut these down to discs, 3 1/4 inch diameter. And how I did that was I just found this is a cake frosting container from the house. It was just the right diameter for me. I tried using just a sheet of paper and laying over this thing, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. And I didn't like the results that I got, as well as if I cut it down and made a disc. So 3 1/4 inches the size of that disc. All right, I think we're pretty good and dry there. And again, that was PVC cleaner. You could use purple primer. I think the primer does the same thing as the cleaner. Now, I'm not entirely sure. I know they want to see that purple on stuff that's getting pressure tested, but now I'm getting a little bit, I'm going a little bit overboard here on the glue, and I probably should not. And again, I don't want to smear this all over because I don't want wet glue in there, possibly running into paper that I'm going to put in there. Which side of that did I prime? I think I did that side. So I'm just going to push those two together, kind of turn it, and hold it. I think you're supposed to hold it for like a, I don't know, a 10 count or 15 count or something. But again, you don't want to make this too sloppy and smeary because I don't want wet glue in there that could possibly come up against my paper membrane. So I'm just going to take a rag and I'm going to kind of clean up the outside of that. So I don't want to get glue all over the workbench and everything. And on the inside, we'll just make sure that we hold that. We'll just make sure that that glue doesn't get flipped upside down. So it's a little wet down there at the bottom. That'll be all right. Next thing you want to do, you guys see what I'm doing here? Yep, okay. Take your disc, kind of center it up over top of that. And I marked up a 1/2 inch. This will come into play in a second. I marked up 1/2 inch up this fitting and made a little mark there. We're going to drill a hole there here in just a second. Now that glue that I just put on these pieces, that's the only glue we're going to use for this project. That's it. We're done gluing. Now I'm just pushing this down on here and I'm going to push it all the way down. All the way down until that paper is just about at that ridge there. I want it down as far as I can get it. So you can see that paper's good and tight. Make sure you didn't rip your paper around the edge by pushing that down. That's a big part of the project right there, just getting that paper in there and getting it good and tight. So that's a good thing. Now the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take this 2 1/4 inch long piece and we're just going to set it in there and we're going to push it down. It'll go in a whole lot easier than the other one did. So we got this all pushed together. Now I'm going to drill with, where are we at? 3/16 inch drill bit. And I'm just going to drill right on that mark. And I'm drilling through the fitting and the pipe inside. And I'm going to take my my little air fitting here and I'm just going to press it in there. And this plastic is sort of soft. We could glue this together, and I thought about gluing these together, but I didn't. In the event that I ever rip that paper, I'm going to have to take this apart, and it's going to be kind of tough, but you can wiggle this. I've taken them apart before. You can put this, I kind of clamp this in a vise and wiggle this and end up getting this to pop out, take a punch and knock the bottom portion out. And if this were glued in, we would damage that fitting. It would make it a whole lot harder to take it apart. So you don't have to glue it in. It gets a good seal. The only reason I glued this down here is I just want to be sure that the biggest part of that air chamber is sealed up. So, but these fittings stay in here really tight. So that's it. Let me show you on one. Well, hell, I'll show you on this one. We'll just plug it in and test it out, and I'll show you how well they do with the powder. So now this powder that I've gotten is, let's see, which one do I want to use? We'll use the orange. Should hold up a whole lot, or you should be able to see the orange pretty easy in there. The powder that I'm using in here is, they come normally, I guess they come in like 2-ounce bottles. And the reason that I kind of went with the sizing on everything that I did was I don't want to have to use a whole bottle just to dip a bunch of little jigs. So if you go with a real big diameter pipe, you're going to be using more paint to get the depth that you're going to want. I want at least an inch or about an inch, 1 1/8, 1 1/4 of powder in here when it's fluidized. I want it to be about 1 1/4 inches deep. That way I'm not in danger of pushing my jigs through that paper membrane. And I don't want to use a whole bottle of it to do that. I always kind of want to keep a little bit in the bottle for reserve. So anyhow, that's why I came up with the dimensions that I came up with. I don't want it to take a whole bottle of paint, and I still wanted it to be big enough to do what I want to do. Now I'm not going to be making jigs bigger than, most of them are 1/16 ounce, some 1/8 ounce. I might do some 3/8 or half. So I used, better than half of that bottle. And again, I think these are 2 ounce. So let's close that valve for now. Got it about closed. Plug in our pump. Can you see what we're doing here? Let me bring you in a little closer. You can see how the bed acts when I turn on the air here. Give it a little shake to get it kind of started. And adjust the air till you get it flowing, just how you like it. Sometimes it wants to volcano, and you want to turn the air down because it's volcanoing, and actually it helps if you bump the air up a little bit for just a second, get everything flowing real well. There you go. It's volcanoing a little bit around the edges. I'd like to see it a little bit more than that. These valves are really nice. I mean, you can adjust that just as much as you want. Now I've got this pin marked at 1 inch, so we'll see how much. So we're just a fuzz over 1 inch. Let's turn that air up a little bit more. So you can see, well, I hope you can see it. It's really rolling in there now. That's a little too much air. It's going to take some tweaking, and it seems like every paint, even the same. I buy all this stuff from Jan's Netcraft. Each different paint is acting differently. Of the different colors that I've been playing with, like this orange is acting stickier than the rest. The purple did okay. The gold flake was a little bit clumpy. This orange is acting a little stickier than those were. So I mean, just the fact that I can push that pin in there and pull it out as easy as I can. I mean, that's all you need for doing jigs. So we're at about 1.25 inches there. Now, if a guy wanted to, I mean, you can make this sucker really roll and boil and make a real mess, and you can get that up there. I mean, heck, now you can see how, heck, that's 1.75 inches of paint probably, which is a little overkill. We're wasting paint. It's bubbling out. Well, I nearly forgot to mention what that second plug was for, and that is just to cap the thing. So these plugs seal up pretty good, and then you can unhook your air line, close your valve all the way, and that's good and sealed up. Shouldn't have any issues with humidity getting in there, and you can just leave your paint in the cup then. And if a guy wanted to, I mean, you can dump it back into the jar, but you can leave it just like that. It's good and sealed up. Set it off on the shelf, and that's it. This is the breakdown on the cost of everything, and you can see the pipe. I bought a 10-foot stick at $6.68. So I used 3¼ inches. Comes out to 23 cents of PVC pipe. One coupling is $1.08. The two spigot test fittings, those plugs, are 75 cents each, so that's $1.50 there. And the air valves, I bought them on Amazon. I got a 10 or 20 pack, I think. They break down to 46 cents each. So I got $3.27 in the cup. If you got any questions at all, leave them in the comments down below. I'll answer anything the best that I can. If you want to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button. If I helped you, click that thumbs up button. And until the next video, keep on tinkering.